Hello, welcome to Fun Cars and Good People. My name is Carl. This video is about retrofitting the MDrive features to the E9x M3s that do not come with this option. The MDrive package includes an exclusive M button on the steering wheel, the Sport Plus mode of the engine control, the M dynamic mode of the traction control, an MDrive menu in the iDrive system, and the sport mode of the power-assisted steering. This video is also my true story that can be added to the Fault Busters playlist. We'll get to that part very soon. And I hope this video can be a useful DIY guide for you, so please feel free to start from any section you like. I'll show you the outline right now. The essential part of the MDrive function is the steering wheel column switch cluster, the SZL. There are some variations in the part number according to various equipment and production year of the car. Please see the table. Some parts cannot be exchanged retrospectively, so please carefully check the catalog. For example, my 2008 E90 M3 is equipped with the rain sensor, with vehicle order or the option code 521, so it requires the part number 61319123060. The engine control module, the DME, and the dynamic stability control module, the DSC, already have the MDrive function built in, so this is good news that we don't have to change these very expensive parts. What about the attractive M button in the steering wheel? Well, it's just a different printing on the plastic trim. The functionality is just as same as the original multifunction switches. There are some aftermarket parts available. I've seen red, blue, and yellow M buttons. Very fancy, right? But I have to remind you not to buy cheap ones because there are a lot of low-quality products. Here are the required tools. A 10mm hex socket for disconnecting the car battery, a disposable chopstick or a flat-headed screwdriver for removing the airbag, 16mm hex socket for removing and installing the steering wheel, a pry for removing the steering column trim covers, and torque speeds of T10 and T20 for removing the screws, a torque wrench that can do 60mm to tighten the steering column bolt. We are also going to need a computer installed with NCS Expert and NCS Dummy for coding the related modules, and Tools 32 or ISTA for calibrating the steering angle sensor, the LWS, after the installation of the new SZL. At last, diagnostic tools like IMPA or ISTA are needed to clear fault codes that come during the retrofit process. The only risk in this work is accidentally triggering the airbags when removing the steering wheel. Just follow the BMW instructions, then you and your M3 will be fine. So here is the brief plan for this retrofit. 1. Disconnect the car battery. 2. Remove the steering wheel. 3. Swap the M button if necessary. 4. Swap the SZL and restore the steering wheel and car battery. 5. Coding the DME and iDrive. 6. Calibrating the LWS and clear fault codes. It is going to take about 1 hour if there are not any problems in our way. Before I continue, I would like to recommend this reading material, After Sales Training, Product Information, E92 M3 Complete Vehicle, which contains all the interesting information you would like to know about the E9x M3. So in short, MDrive is an additional sport mode that allows the driver to drive more sportily. This option essentially enables an additional Sport Plus mode of the engine control, an additional M dynamic mode of the traction control, and an additional sport mode of the power-assisted steering. There is also an additional MDrive menu enabled in the iDrive interface, in which the driver can preset his or her preferred combination of electronic damper control, traction control, power control, and power-assisted steering. The M button on the steering wheel is the most prominent feature of MDrive. When the M button is pressed, you will see a green M mark and a yellow MDM icon pop up on the instrument cluster as the default setting. Not all E9x M3s are equipped with MDrive. The availability of this option varies from market to market. My E90 M3 was sold in Japan in 2008, and I'm very lucky to collect an option list for that year. As you can see, the MDrive package was an option that costed 450,000 Japanese yen, equivalent to about 4,300 US dollars in that year. The package included MDrive, EDC, and electronic seat support. I'm very happy that the previous owner had taken this option. However, I wish that he or she had also ordered the individual sound system and the rear door sunshades, so this M3 would be fully loaded with original equipment. I will make another video to talk about the available options for E9x M3s and me putting on those missing pieces. For the US market in 2008, MDrive, EDC, and navigation were included in the optional technology package, which costs 3,250 US dollars. Later, the MDrive feature became a standard option, as shown in this window sticker of a 2012 M3 Coupe. Here is another example from the UK market in 2008. The MDrive and navigation appeared to be standard equipment. So the diversity of the worldwide market is why some E9x M3s do not have MDrive. But don't worry, it's never too late, never too hard, and never too expensive to put on the last piece of the puzzle. You will see how easy this retrofit is in the walkthrough part. Let's continue to learn more about the features of MDrive. The M button can enable Sport Plus mode of the engine control, where the power button on the center console only switches two modes between normal and sport. All of the power modes allow the engine to output its maximum power, 420 horsepower. The difference is the response to the accelerator pedal. I quote from a tuner guide that the butterfly throttle valves will fully open under Sport Plus mode. So that's why we can have this great difference in power response and fuel consumption. So there is an obvious increase in the sensitivity of Sport Plus mode. The car feels like it has woken. For me, the E90 M3 is a sleeper daily. I usually drive in normal mode and only activate Sport Plus while making pulls. Let's review the owner's manual about the M Dynamic Mode, MDM. M Dynamic Mode is a mode of the Dynamic Stability Control, the DSC, that permits greater longitudinal and lateral acceleration when driving on dry surfaces, yet with reduced driving stability. Only at the absolute limit of stability does the system intervene to stabilize the vehicle by reducing engine power and applying the brakes on the wheels. In such situations, additional corrective steering maneuvers may be necessary. So here I quote from the other car guys that MDM will intervene more lately than normal modes, and the driver can have more fun on the track. You may wonder, isn't turning off the traction control the ultimate track mode? Well, yes, but that's for professionals only. I believe MDM is a protection for holiday racers. Let me make another video about the comparison and show you later. But in any case, please drive safely. Do not risk killing the precious M3. Now let's talk about the MDrive menu, through which the driver can customize the modes for engine power, traction control, suspension damper, and the steering assist when the M button is pressed. Please see the table for available modes. Therefore, when we retrofit MDrive, we also need to code the iDrive to enable the MDrive menu. What about the E9x M3s that neither have the iDrive nor the MDrive equipped? Can the MDrive still be retrofitted? The answer is positive. I have a DIYer report that the MDrive can be successfully retrofitted to single-hump M3s. However, only default modes can be called up upon pressing the M button. There is no iDrive menu for customization. I am the second owner of this E90 M3. It came with the M button with a working MDrive menu. I was expecting something fancy would happen when I pushed it, although I had completely no idea what MDrive really was. At that time, the sole function of this M button was generating fault code. There was this BMW hexagonal fault code, CDBC, message, operation MDrive button, 01D6, incorrect, receiver DME, transmitter DSC/SZL/LWS. Besides, the fault code did not trigger a check engine light. The M button on the steering wheel and MDrive menu indicated that the MDrive is the original option, but nothing was happening when pressing the M button. Regarding the fault code about MDrive button, something must be wrong. What a headache for someone who is new to BMW. So this was my starting point of learning all this coding stuff to bust the problem. My belief was simple: I can do it. I tried to code the related modules but with no success. As you see in this photo, I even accidentally bricked the DME when I tried to reprogram it with WinKFP. The car would crank but just no ignition. I had to go back to the nearest dealer to flash the DME. They read the fault code and told me, "Your multifunction switch has the wrong part number." What a strange situation, and I doubted it. Even the dealer could not solve my problem. I went home and removed the column switch cluster, the SZL, to see if anything was broken. This was the closest point to success. I was stuck here for a few days until I browsed the online catalog for BMW parts. Reading the parts detail, I realized that there was a variety in the part numbers due to different car options. An idea popped into my mind: take a look at the part number of my SZL. Then to my surprise, the part number was 123049 rather than the correct one, 123060 for MDrive. Bingo! I finally busted this imposter. I quickly ordered a used SZL from Yahoo Auction Japan and swapped it on. And that successfully resolved my problem, as simple as what I'm going to show you in the following video. However, the biggest myth is how come a wrong part was used on this car. When I removed the steering wheel, it seemed like that area had never been touched before. As the second owner in another country, I'm unlikely to know the answer. In the last step of the work, we need to calibrate the steering angle sensor, the LWS. Please park the car on a flat, level surface. Set the wheels straight and steering wheel centered. To prevent accidentally triggering the airbag, disconnect the car battery before we touch the wiring harness of the airbag.
Use a 10mm socket. Okay, the power is out.
Your car may have some module reset and fault codes about battery drain after this work. First, remove the airbag, which is held by two springs in the steering wheel. Locate two service holes on the back of the steering wheel. Use the flat-headed screwdriver or disposable chopstick and insert into the service hole to push the spring. The airbag can be released like this. Disconnect its wiring harness and use a T 10mm
Oops, careful.
And also disconnect other wiring harnesses of the multi-function switch cluster on the front of the steering wheel. Use the 16mm hex socket to remove the bolt on the steering column. The steering wheel can be removed.
It's out.
Undo the 3 screws on the back of the steering wheel which hold the cover trim.
Okay.
Remove the multifunction switch cluster from the cover trim.
Right.
Disassemble the multifunction switch cluster.
Okay, open from the top. Works. Contact plate. And button is here.
You see? It's just a printing on a plastic trim.
And we're going to replace it with this one.
So this step is optional and you can leave your original button like it is. The actual functionality of the button is assigned by coding the iDrive. We will get to that part in a minute.
Alright.
Assemble the switch cluster in reverse order.
Wow, fancy M button.
Let's move on to replace the key part of MDrive.
Push the column trim to insert the pry. Also the other side.
Push the edge of the trim to make a gap to insert pry. That will be easier. There are clips of the lower trim holding on the steering column. Carefully release them to remove the lower trim.
I have this cable because I retrofitted the heated steering wheel to my E9x M3, which is not an option for the M3s. So I have to remove this connector to remove this lower trim. Also,
Disconnect the wiring harnesses on the back of the right bottom corner of the SZL.
1 and 2. Okay, the harnesses are removed.
Undo the 4 screws that fix the SZL to the steering column.
There are 4 T20 screws.
The SZL is removed.
So now we are going to transfer the clock spring to the new SZL. There are 3 clips we have to release. Let's go. And then this one. That's it, how we separate.
Assemble the steering wheel in the reverse order.
Okay, now we swapped the clock spring to the new SZL. Let's put it back into the car. Order. Don't have to be super tight. £60 Nm.
Note that the tightening torque for the steering column bolt is 60 Nm.
And if you are doing it alone, you may not be able to hold the steering wheel with one hand and tighten it with another hand. So we need the help of our knees. This is a really strange position. Push. It's done.
Connect the car battery and we are done with the hardware part. If you switch on the car at this moment, you are going to see the check engine lights
with a lot of warnings. This is due to the change of steering angle sensor, the LWS, in the SZL. We will clear the faults at the end of the retrofit.
The first step is to add MDrive to the vehicle order, the VO or FR in German, which is the equipment or function list of the car. The VO is stored in the CAS and NFRM modules. On the left bottom are some examples. 2MD corresponds to the MDrive, 223 corresponds to EDC, electronic damper control, and etc. So be sure to change the VO for any retrofit. In the future, if there is an electrical reset, the car will automatically configure all the modules accordingly. In other words, some people do a default coding to all the modules after the VO is properly set, so they don't have to code the modules one by one. This saves a lot of time, but may lose some customizations they had coded previously. In the following video, I will show you the detailed way to code all the modules associated with MDrive. The second step is to code the DME, the engine control unit, and the CCC iDrive. For those E9x M3s without iDrive, as known as the single-hump version, iDrive coding is not necessary. To my surprise, the M dynamic mode is already built in the DSC, the traction control unit, so there's no need to code this module. However, some racers found that the US market DSC intervenes earlier than the Europe market one. If you have the need for speed, you can code your DSC in this work. Connect the K plus D CAN cable to the car.
Connect to the OBD2 port. Then switch on to ignition and turn off the headlight, the air conditioner, and the lights to save the car battery.
Run NCS Expert. Load NCS dummy profile. Click VIN ZCS FA. Click ZCS FA from ECU to read information from the car. The E9X belongs to the E89 family. Choose to read the VO from CAS. You will see your VIN and the vehicle order loaded and displayed. Click Enter FA. Select E89 again. Check the VIN is correct. Enter the vehicle order
Money mark to MD
to the VO field and click Add. Check that money mark to MD is listed, then click OK. We are going to write the VO into CAS module. Click Process ECU, select CAS, change job to FA write, and execute the job. When this is done, we do this procedure again for the NFRM module. Change ECU and select NFRM. Make sure job is FA write and execute job. When done, the M3 knows it has the MDrive equipped.
Press Choose ECU and select 8B MOT from the ECU list,
which is the DME model for the S65 engine on E9x M3. Click Read ECU. The popped-up window shows the configuration for the DME module. Close this window and note the module profile is MSS60.C02. We will select this profile in NCS Dummy. Run NCS Dummy. From the module list, select MSS60C02 and click Load FSW_PSW.trc, the trace file, to load the DME configuration we just read out. Use the Find function, click the Order option tab, enter M_drive to find associated coding options. We need to make changes in options MDrive_MSS and M_button. Here we see that they are all set to nicht active, not enabled. Simply click the active enabled options for both of them. Then click Export FSW_PSW.man to save a temporary file. Go back to NCS Expert, click Change Job to SG Coherent for writing the configuration, and click Execute Job. When done, the DME is properly coded.
If warnings come out at this moment, just disregard them and carry on. We will clear all of them later.
Now we have coded the DME, but not the iDrive. So at this moment, iDrive still regards this button as the diamond multifunction switch. When we push this button, it activates MDrive, but also the function assigned to the diamond button. For me, the audio mute. So that's why we also have to code iDrive to complete the MDrive Retrofit.
If you have an M3 without iDrive, your coding work is done now.
Please move on to calibrating the steering angle sensor. We will now code the iDrive to enable the MDrive menu so you can configure your own combination of engine power, traction control, electronic damping control, and steering wheel servotronic setting upon pressing the M button. For those who don't have iDrive, you will have the default configuration of MDrive. So we just do a similar job to the iDrive. Choose CAPPL from the ECU list, read ECU, note the module profile CAPPL.C0C. In NCS Dummy, select CAPPL.C0C and load the trace file. Use the find function to search M_drive in the order option tab. The functions we have to code are MFL_menu, DSC, and MDrive_menu. Make all of them active enabled and export the main file. Go back to NCS Expert, execute the job SG Coherent to the CAPPL module. When this is done, switch off the car and wait for more than 1 minute for the iDrive to reboot. Upon the next start, you will see several warnings related to the traction control because the car has detected a different part number of the SZL. It knows the steering angle sensor, the LWS inside the SZL, has been swapped, so calibration must be performed to continue. If you have an US market M3 and you have the need for European traction control, you can code the DSC as well. Use the same procedure to read the M3 DSC module. The profile for my car is MK60_M3.C08. The two options to be coded are US_vehicle and MDynamic_mode_USA. Simply enable them and code the DSC. I have tried the method of fully turning the steering wheel to the left and right, but it did not work for the M3. Calibration with the computer is needed. Here you can use either ISTA Plus or Tools 32 for this job. I will show you both ways. Again, put the car to ignition but not starting the engine. Run Tools 32, open the program file dsc_87.prg. Find Lenkwinkel_DSC_abgleichen in the job list. You can click the first item in the list and press the L key to look for job name beginning with L. Double-click on the job to run the calibration and make sure the status is done. You will hear a warning gong and a fault message on the instrument cluster, but don't worry, we will clear it later. And for the calibration with ISTA Plus, go to Vehicle Management, Service Function, Chassis and Suspension, Steering Angle Sensor, Steering Angle Sensor Adjustment, find ABL SZL/DSC, Steering Angle Adjustment. Then perform this function. You can see that the steering angle must be calibrated after the replacement of the SZL. Continue, continue. Do you wish to cancel the test? Select 2 for no, then continue. You are prompted to position the steering wheel horizontally. Confirm and continue. And the adjustment was successful. Then just confirm the test result and end this function.
Calibration is done.
Clear codes with any diagnostic tool.
For example, I used ESTA Plus for this demonstration. By doing this, the retrofit is all done.
Try pushing the M button on the steering wheel to see the green M lights up. Now your M3 is equipped with the fancy MDrive mode. The M button is the first thing you notice about MDrive. When you press it, the green M mark and yellow MDM icon show up on the instrument panel. The power, EDC buttons on the center console also light up according to their current status. You can navigate to the MDrive menu in iDrive and set up your favorite combination of power control, traction control, and electronic damper control. If you don't have iDrive, there will only be one combination of Sport Plus Power Mode, M Dynamic Traction Mode, and Sport Damper Mode. Just like I am showing you now, I coded out the MDrive menu just to simulate the single-hump M3s.
Let's go for a drive and talk about the rest of the MDrive features.
The Sport Plus Power Mode is the second thing you will notice about MDrive because of the throttle response becomes more sensitive. We are approaching a tunnel, let's give it a shot. M button on, downshift, wow, really sick. The M3 immediately transforms from a semi-luxury, comfortable sedan into a sports car. For the M Dynamic Traction mode and the Sport Power Assisted Steering modes, I think you can only tell the differences in high-speed corners when the M3 is being pushed to its limits. I agree with some enthusiasts that only by turning off the DSC can this sleeper beast be freely unleashed. So I plan to go on a track day to compare all the traction modes. However, I'm not a track racer, so I cannot give professional perspectives on how the M3 drives. Please refer to other great videos about tracking the M3. And if you have experience with M Dynamic mode, you are very welcome to share it with everyone down in the comments. In conclusion, I do hope this video serves as a useful information for DIY lovers and people who are curious about the MDrive or the M button. For me, I'm super happy that I busted the mysterious fault code about the M button and completed my E90 M3. So that's all about retrofitting the MDrive. I will let you know about my amateur opinion after I went on a track day. See you soon!